Hello and welcome to this tutorial on using singing pumpkins in Superstar. To get started, we're going to go up here to previews and select the singing trees preview I've made before and just modify it. All it has is these two trees, which are very similar to our singing pumpkins, except we want Halloween themed. So I'm just going to go up here to add and find pumpkins. So I'm going to go down to Light-O-Rama props online and press continue. And of course we want Halloween. And if we scroll down here, we can see we got 4 little pumpkins. We got Munchkin, Max, Gordy, and Jack. So I'm going to just select Jack this time and say add. And just say close. And if we scroll down here, we can see our blue text, our groups. So we have this Jack whole pumpkin group right here. And I'm just going to move him over here so he's not covering up that other tree. And if, just like with the trees, like if we double click on Eldon here, we had to change the arrangement to be a vertical stack, and it was a 1x14, and that made it so we could edit it in just a vertical stack in Superstar. So for the pumpkin, we'd want to do something similar. Double click on it, and we've got the arrangement. If we say vertical stack this time, we can see the size is way bigger, right? 121 by 2670, and that's not going to work in Superstar. So what we've got to do instead is go to add and add a different prop. So we're going to go down, instead of to Light-O-Rama props, we're going to go down to Superstar and select continue. And here we can see the same 4 pumpkins: Munchkin, Max, Gordy, and Jack. So I'm going to select Jack again, but this time it's the Superstar version. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down and find the Jack Superstar group and just move him above here so we can see him. And you can see he looks the same, but this time when we double click on it, and we can see the arrangement's already set up for us. It's already on vertical stack, and this time the size is 1x15. So that's going to work a lot better in Superstar. So we can just say save, even though there's nothing different there. And I'm just going to add one more pumpkin. So I'm going to again go down to Superstar, and this time I'm going to select Max. He's a little sinister looking, and just say add. And again go down to the group so I can move him all together, Max Superstar. And then I can move him up here. There he is. Hello, Max. And now, again, if we double click, it's already set up for us. So now we just need to make a group. So we've got this singing trees group right here. We just need to make like a singing pumpkins group. So I'm just going to select Max, and if I hold down Control and click on Jack, then I've got them both selected. And then I can just right click and say create group. And now we just need to put them in an arrangement, right? So either horizontal stack align bottoms or tops, it doesn't matter. They're the same size, so there's nothing to align that's different. So I'm just going to say bottoms, and it's important to, I'll just move this here. It's important to make sure the order here, like it says here, checked items should be ordered left to right. So that's so that the way it corresponds in Superstar is what makes sense. Okay, so let's look. We've got Jack. That is Jack, and then Max. So that is going from left to right. But if it was switched for some reason, right, Max listed first when he's on the right, then we can use these arrows to switch that so that it's ordered how we want. So Jack and then Max. Looks good. Okay, so we just need to give it a group name, and I'm just going to say Singing Pumpkins. Nice and easy. So just say save. And now we are all set up. So, oh, and of course we want to change our name to be Singing Trees and Pumpkins. And of course we've got these channel conflicts, but that's just because we have this Light-O-Rama pumpkin. We wouldn't really have a setup like this for real outside. This is just for the tutorial, so we can ignore that for right now. So I'm just gonna save my new preview. And now we're all set up to make our sequence. So I'm just going to click on New Musical Sequence, or I could go to File and say New Musical Sequence. Okay, and I'm again going to use Feliz Navidad and just say Open. And this is what I want, right? We're using the preview we just made, singing trees and pumpkins. Looks good. Create. Okay, so we have all our items listed over here, most of which we aren't going to use on the trees, but I'm just going to make that bigger so we can see it. And I'll scroll down, and here are the groups that we made. We got singing pumpkins, singing trees, but I just want to show you, if we selected Jack, not the superstar Jack, so this row, if I just press R, then it selects the whole row. And of course I need to save it before it'll let me. Feliz Navidad pumpkins. Yes, okay. And then I right click and I try to add a superstar effect. It will stop us, right? It only goes up to a maximum height of 400. That is more than 400, right? So even if you tried, it wouldn't let you. Okay, so we're going to use our Singing Pumpkins group that has the Superstar Pumpkins in it, so they will work for Superstar. So we're going to go down to this row. You can right click and say select row, or like it says, you can just press the R key, which sounds easier to me. And then just right click, insert Superstar effect, or Shift S as it says there. Okay, so here it has opened, and here we can see our pumpkins. Very nice. So we're going to go ahead and go up to Tools and say Auto Sequence Singing Faces. And the first time it loads this dialog box here, and it's a little confused because it goes, oh, I can see 15 image, it's a 1x15 grid or 2x15 grid instead of 14. So it's a little confused. So this is just what it shows if you haven't got the newest update yet. I'll show you the newest update later, what it looks like. But if you haven't updated yet or don't want to, then you just have to force it to load using the 14 elements option, and it can still work. So we just say OK, and it just thinks that these are trees instead of pumpkins. So there's just some little changes we need to make. The biggest one being that the tree outline is green, and we want our pumpkins to be orange, right? So, and I'm going to go ahead and change the mouth so that it matches the eyes as well. So to change the colors, and notice it says Eldon here when this is Jack. The names don't matter. It's that number 1. We know that number 1 here is referring to our first image here on the left. So we got 1, mouth is red. We want it to be yellow. So just change that to yellow, and then left click and modify, and we just need to go through and do that with every single mouth image here. And make sure you press modify after each one. There we go. And then mouth closed. Okay, and eyes look fine. They're still yellow. Tree outline, we want to be orange. There we go. Modify. And then what was the star, but is our stem in this case, we want that to just be green. So I'll just select green. There we go. So now it looks like a pumpkin. So now if we want to go in auto sequence, but I'm going to change it just from being the whole music to just being a recording I made of just my voice, recording just the lyrics, as I've talked about in other tutorials. And then I can just say auto sequence a singing face. And this is doing the first one because right here we've selected 1, and that's the one furthest to the left. Just auto sequence, and Superstar does its magic. And here we go. So I'm going to move it past the intro to where it actually starts singing. And let's take a look.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
Beautiful. So it looks like a pumpkin, but we can see one problem here. Jack has this cute little nose and eyebrows, and it's not using them at all because the trees didn't have noses or eyebrows. So that's where this 15th little pixel here comes in. That's what it's highlighting. So if we want to use that, we can just add it to the eyes open and closed option here, so or image here. So on eyes open, let's just go ahead and make it yellow, and we just want to also select that 15th pixel there at the bottom and say modify, and do that for both eyes open and closed. So now if we look at it, it should use that nose and eyebrow. eyebrows.
Feliz Navidad.
There we go.
Feliz Navidad.
So Jack is looking nice and happy and cute, even if he is singing Merry Christmas. So if we want to use our second pumpkin as well, we've got similar issues here of the colors not matching, so I'm just going to go ahead and change. And again, it says Eldon and Felix. The names don't matter. It's that 2. That 2 means we're talking about the second one from the left. So I'm going to go ahead and change the mouth to be yellow really quick, or all of the mouths to be yellow. Here we go. Okay, eyes are fine. Definitely want that outline to be orange. And want our star, or our stem, whoops, our stem to be green. Here we go. And you can see Max is a little different here because he doesn't have eyebrows. And if we select that 15th element, he's just got this tiny dot of a nose. So it's up to you whether you want to add that to the eyes open or closed. It's probably not going to make much of a difference. So I'm not going to worry about that this time. So I just want to auto sequence Max as well, which is number 2. So I'm going to go over here to singing face number 2 and also change it to be just the voice, not the music, and auto sequence. And we can't see a difference right away just because it's zoomed in, so if we just kind of make this smaller, we can see, oh, now we've got 2 sets of sequences here for the first pumpkin and the second pumpkin. So let's just look at that.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
There we go. Okay, so they're singing in sync with each other. So next I'm going to show you what it looks like if you do have the newest update. So just a minute as I get that set up. Okay, so here I have the new updated version. So what I showed you before is how it'll work if you're on any version that is before that's 6.2.12 or earlier. And this is, I'm going to show you how it works if you are at 6.2.14 or later. Okay, so I've still got my singing pumpkins row here, and I've selected the whole row by pressing R and adding the superstar effect. So this time when I go up to Tools and auto sequence the singing faces, now it recognizes that these are pumpkins, and it has this 4th option here of 15 elements singing pumpkins. So that makes it easier, so we say OK. And now you can see the name here is Jack, as it should be, and the mouth is yellow, so all of those mouths are already changed to yellow for us. The eyes already include the eyebrow and nose. The outline is orange, the stem, and they're even called pumpkin outline and pumpkin stem is green, the stem is green, and we have that nose eyebrow option on the bottom. So everything that we had to do manually before is already done for us. And again, this says Gordy, even though this is Max. If we just use that standard order of how it's listed when you're choosing the props, it would match, the names would match. But what you really want to pay attention to, again, is that 2. And again, all of this is already changed for us, so that makes it easy. So we can just auto sequence right away. We've got the singing face 1. I'm again going to select the recorded voice, just the voice, not the music, and then we can just auto sequence. And we can see that it looks like a pumpkin.
Feliz Navidad.
So all that is already done for us, and then we can just select 2, and that'll be Max, and we can auto sequence to the voice again, but this time for pumpkin 2. And again, we can just zoom out here. Oh, there we've got the other effects there, and we can look at that.
Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad.
There we go.
Feliz Navidad.
So, if you have the newly updated version, it's a little easier because it's already done for you, but you can still make it work just fine if you have that older version. So that is all I have for you today, and I hope you have a super day.